This video is sponsored by Card Kingdom. You can visit their store by using my referral link in the description below. Here's good old Smothering Tithe, which is unfortunately awful in limited. Yeah, don't really want that. These lands are all pretty good. They're not like completely insane. Thank you for the sub, Johan. But they're like good. Yeah. This is not an amazing pack overall. Spellcaster and Ice Rot Sentry are both pretty good, I think. This is a card it'll be interesting to see if it's good. It seems a little too slow to me. I mean, the trainee's not bad. I could see a world... You know, I'm only a few drafts in, of course, but a world where this might just be a first pick. Like, it is really aggressive 2-drop. So, yeah. What do I want to take here? One of these uncommons or just the land? I mean, fixing is nice. I'm sort of leaning in this direction because nothing in this pack is that good to me. So I think I'll just take Restless Fortress. Ooh, Bramble Familiar is quite good. Obviously, it's not in our Restless Fortress colors, but it's a great 2-drop that has a nice late-game adventure stapled to it. I do like Woodland Acolyte a fair bit as well. But yeah, this is a pretty easy Bramble Familiar. Hey, Sloth King, glad you made it to the stream. I hope this isn't a format where the Rat Catcher is something you're supposed to, like, first pick over all sorts of stuff, but, you know, it is an amazing 2-drop. I mean, it probably is first pickable to begin with. Like, in any format, it probably would be, but first pickable over, like, a bunch of rares and mythics is a whole other thing, so. Whole other thing. Okay. So Hamlet Glutton, you know, for when you're playing against those really aggressive decks, Hamlet Glutton has been quite good. I mean, I've been in aggressive decks where you groan when someone plays it, and yeah, it is kind of something you need. Up the Beanstalk is pretty good too. You know, if we're going to end up ramping. I do like the duel, but it's very build-aroundy because you kind of have to get Chapter 3 going, and we have before. During early access, we got it going, but it's far from a guarantee. I'm leaning towards Hamlet Glutton here. It's just been that big a deal, and you kind of want one in like every one of the green decks, it feels like. So I'm gonna go ahead and take one here. Where did my Hamlet Glutton go? Ah. Cool. Huh. It loaded the next pack, but it's not letting me make a pick. I'm probably going to take the green removal spell or Root Rider Fawn from the very dim... It's very weird that it's still clearly connected, but not connected because it's like ticking away right now. Oh, boy. Come on, Arena. You have this pack loaded. Let me make a pick. That's annoying. See what random card it picks for me. It looks like it's going to take Into the Fey Court. That's the auto-select. Okay, now we're reconnected. We did get a card we didn't really want, but, you know, what are we going to do? Wait, where's our... I bet we have our Giant. It's just not showing up in our deck because I don't know... We don't have any card from that pick. So, yeah. Anyway, so we've got a Ratcatcher trainee here. I also like Obira's Attendants. I'm thinking about the trainee. It's impressed me enough that I think I do take it over Attendants. It had to give me some card from that pack. So yeah, I think we'll see it in the end, even though it's not showing right now. Hearth Elemental, really only worthwhile. I mean, it's not a late game draw. It's a pretty good late game draw in like any deck, but for it to be worth it in most decks, you kind of have to get there. We could take Bombardment and try to go in more of a rat direction, and it is pretty powerful. I like this way more than Impact Tremors because it rewards you for things you already have in play, as well as things you're going to play. So I could really consider taking the Bombardment here. The other things in this pack aren't super impressive to me. You know, Flick a Coin and stuff's fine. I think Bombardment has a high enough ceiling that I'm going to grab it. Okay, so Trainee Wield. I do like Frolicking Familiar too, but I'm kind of interested in this Goblin Bombardment direction now. And I like Ratcatcher Trainee a lot, so I think that's what we're going to take. So we do have 2 good green cards. We might be a red-green deck. So here's Impact Tremors too. We could try and go all in. I mean, I don't love Tremors for reasons I just mentioned. It's no Goblin Bombardment. I mean, Bombardment even lets you do damage to creatures. Monstrous Rage is a really good combat trick for aggressive, though. And this is only, going to be good if we're really going wide, which is not a guarantee. I mean, we're in decent shape for doing it right now. And Monstrous Rage is going to be good whether we're going wide as an aggro deck or if we're a more traditional aggro deck. So I think we probably take Rage. It's just, I think it's good enough that we want to take it there. All right, so I think we'll take Bellowing Bruiser here. Red seems pretty open. Yeah, I don't really want Bespoke Battle Garb. We'll grab a Verdant Outrider. Like, if we're going to be a red-green, it's highly unlikely we end up with a critical mass of rats. So, you know. So, worth remembering, we do have a giant that's not currently showing up. I mean, this is a pretty mediocre combat trick. Rage is way better. I'll take a Prism. Take Misleading Motes here in case we decide to go blue, I guess. I mean, we could think about Rat Out just because, yeah, I guess if we end up in black-red, we're going to be pretty happy to have Rat Out, so. So instead of Into the Fake Court, I would have had the green removal spell. Yeah. Okay. So this is pretty good in an aggro deck, even if you can never cast the blue side. And the other options in this pack don't interest me that much. I mean, I do like Brave the Wilds, especially if we're trying to splash. Right now, we're not really. We might try to, you know, have a few treasure or something so we can cast the other side of this. But it does feel like we're just going aggro at this point. Which I don't think is a bad place to be. Another Trainee. There's also an Edgewall pack, which I like. Yeah. So right now, I mean, if we were more interested in Celebration, like we were red-white, I think I'd take the pack, but this can do Celebration stuff, and it's just a really good 2-drop. I think it's just better than Edgewall pack. It might wheel, because, you know, the other one did, but we'll see. Yeah, we don't have much keeping us in green. I mean, I guess Bramble Familiar's quite good. We've got that, of course, but... And then the Giant we can't currently see. But it does feel, once you got 3 Ratcatcher Trainees, it does feel like we're going into aggro. Speaking of which, I think we take Picnic Ruiner here. This does make it more likely we want to be red-green. Taken by Nightmares isn't bad. We do have a decent number of rats for Tattered Ratter at this point, but maybe I don't take it. I could take Candy Grapple, like... It's probably the best card in the pack, even better than Taken by Nightmare, I think. But we're not really... Doesn't look like we're going to be black, and Picnic Ruiner will be good. Pretty much, you know, whether we're in red-black or red-green, Picnic Ruiner is good, so... Maybe it'll just be mono-red. There's Raid Bombardment, so, you know, if you can get Impact Tremors, Raid Bombardment, and the one we have, Goblin Bombardment, things do get kind of interesting in, like, an all-in rat deck. So we've got Thunderous Debut. We drafted that yesterday, and it did not go well just because we basically never drew it. And we, like, built our deck around it, and it was really sad that we never drew it. So it is worth a look. Maybe just take Redcap Thief, though. I mean, we've got a little bit of ramp going on because we have a Bramble Familiar, but it does feel more like we're supposed to be aggressive, and I think this puts me more in that direction than that does. Okay, the Giant's fine. Another Hamlet Glutton. I mean, our second color isn't locked in, so something like Discerning Financier is kind of worth a look, but... Okay, so... Blue-red isn't crazy, I don't think, because green just isn't very open. And Frolicking Familiar is pretty good. It would give us easy access to Scalding Viper. So yeah, I think we take a Familiar here. Dark Tutelage. Mary Bard seems fine. Right now, it feels like we're going to be blue-red. Does give us full access to 2 different adventure creatures we have. All right, I do like the Gatekeeper. I think that's what we'll take. It's not necessarily aggressive, but like the early bounce, it's definitely better maybe in a less aggressive deck, and I could maybe take Coralsmith. It is pretty good with roll tokens. Yeah, let's take the Coralsmith. We're not really a blue-red spell deck. We're just going to be like a blue-red aggro deck or something. We'll see. The last pack might give us more synergy, but I like the look of our deck overall. It's just, you know, lots of good value, lots of good 2-drops. Combat Trick, roll tokens, feels pretty good. So Living Lectern isn't exactly what we want. I could take another Outrider. It is a more aggressive card that works well with like Picnic Ruiner. I don't think we're playing a Lectern in this deck, so I will take the creature there. I'll take Witch's Mark here. So we did get back Raid Bombardment. If we really were all in on rats. We definitely have enough creatures for Goblin Bombardment to be good already, especially because we have 3 trainees, which give us 3 bodies. Okay, so we've got Gadwick's First Duel. What do we have that we can cast off of that right now? So it's worth remembering all of our adventures work. So like Steam Clean will be counted, so will Witch's Mark. But I still don't think we quite have enough to make it make sense right now. Yeah, I don't think so. This Questing Druid's a little tempting, you know, about going green, but probably don't do it. Lord Skitter's Butcher is really, really good. Like pack 1, pick... If this was pick 1, that's probably what I would take out of this pack. I'm sort of thinking about the Alchemist. It fits better with the more aggressive blue-red thing we're doing right now than these other cards do. Food Fight is very hard to make work, unfortunately. So Immodane's Recruiter is pretty good, even if we don't have... even if we can never cast the other side, and... We do have a couple treasure, so casting the other side isn't impossible either. So, I think it's what we take here. As Foretold is very hard to make work in Limited. Was last time, is this time. Hilda's Crown of Winter is interesting. I'd probably take it. Edgewell is good, but I feel, you know, this works pretty well in an aggressive deck overall. Just being able to tap things, like, really can open up the board. I think it's what I'm going to take here. Dragon Mantle is interesting. Do I just want another Bruiser? Seems like making things unable to block is going to be pretty good in this deck. Probably better than a Cursed Roll token. But I do already have one, and I guess having a Transmuter seems pretty reasonable. Okay, so Picklock Prankster, huh? That's probably what I take. Maybe not. I don't have any fairies. I mean, it's a good 2-drop. It's a good place to put rolls, I guess. I'm probably going to take it, but we're probably never going to want to cast the adventure side in our deck. Well, it counts our adventures, I guess. So it is a little more likely for us to hit something with it than it might look at first. So another red cap thief. There's a hatching plans, but we're not good enough at bargain. Gatekeeper, red cap thief, boundary lands ranger. How often are we going to be rummaging in this deck? I don't think that often, but it's also not impossible. Yeah, I think we take boundary lands ranger here. Misleading moats. Seems fine. We're not really a blue-red spell deck, interestingly enough. We are a blue-red deck, but we're not doing spell stuff. We're sort of an aggro, tempo type deck. This will be pretty good. We have enough adventures for it to be, so I think it's what we grab over a Coralsmith. Getting it to 3 will be easy enough. We're not going to get it to, like, 7, but it's not Gandalf's Sanction, so getting it to 7 isn't that big of a deal. Merry Bards. This card's an interesting one. You know, if the format's slow enough, it will be really good. But so far, to me, the format does not feel slow. Do I want a Coralsmith or a Bards more? Probably a Coralsmith. So we get a Bruiser. Take the rare because of gems. I mean, I don't know if it's going to make the cut. Without a bunch of spell payoffs, Flick a Coin, I think, is a lot less good. I think it's just sort of mediocre, in fact. But yeah. So this is not a very synergistic deck. So far, basically every deck I've drafted in this format, I've forced synergy pretty hard. It's worked out sometimes. It's not worked out some other times. But this one really doesn't have much in the way of synergy. It's just kind of an aggressive deck with, you know, some minor things, synergy things. So yeah, I don't think we want Flick a Coin. So having the fixing from the treasure does give us access to things like Boundary, or not that, Picnic Ruiners Adventure and Imidane's Recruiter's Adventure. So I think we probably leave it. Prankster, definitely not amazing, but it seems pretty good. We definitely have enough creatures from Bombardment to be good. Especially when you account for 3 rat catchers. So, Diminisher Witch is not something I've been super impressed with, and we're not that good at bargaining, so don't think we want it. I do like all these bounce things and tap things, I think. Do I like Into the Fey Court? Probably not, given what we're trying to do with this deck. Yeah, the Alchemist might actually not be that good. You make a good point. It does count our adventures, so even though we only have 5 instants and sorceries, we have, on top of that, 8. Yeah, we have plenty of adventures, so we leave it in. Treasure does make splashing. I mean, the thing it makes really... The value you get out of it, usually in this format, is just that you're probably going to be able to play off-color adventures on your, 2-colored adventure creatures. We can probably go to 16 lands with this deck, and then I cut, like, a Bellowing Bruiser. Yeah. Yep, I think that's what we'll do here. See how this goes. The non-synergy experiment. Some formats, synergy matters a lot, and you just can't do well without it. Other formats, not so much. Okay, looks fine to me. Be really nice if we get to pick off an X1, and we will. I'm just gonna go ahead and do it now, I think. Of course, I'd much rather have picked this thing off. What are you gonna do? Play Boundary Lands Ranger. So let's think here. If they have a spell, they can tick it up to 2/2. They might have a trick, but honestly, trading for a trick seems fine to me. And if they use a spell, yeah. I mean, it's just a 1-for-1. One where they get a little more value than I do, I guess, but... Let's see. I could get the crown down. But it's probably better to actually play something here. You know, something that adds to the board a little more immediately. Not liking how this looks so far, though. Wonder what they're splashing white for. Let's think here. Thank you for the follow, Parachute. I guess I attack, probably. Player familiar. So, God, prowess is annoying. Yeah, I think we probably just take the hit here. Okay. Interesting. Well, I think I attack. We'd only have 16 lands, so the fact that we're stuck on 3 is kind of not that surprising. I kind of hope... I can blow them out pretty hard here if they block. Yeah, I was going to say. I wouldn't hate them blocking there, but they didn't. I'm going to buff this once because then I'm going to play Picnic Ruiner. Although, yeah. So we'll buff this once. They can swing pretty hard, but we kind of can too, especially with Monstrous Rage. I mean, they can swing harder probably, but... Okay, that's bad. So they're going to play that, then tap down my Ruiner probably, and attack us for... Well, they don't even have to tap my Ruiner. They could tap something they're more worried about in terms of a race. Okay, we did finally draw a 4th land, so that part's nice. The fact they tap down our flyer is very, very bad, though. Very, very bad. So I could hit them for... I mean, I know it can grow to 4, but at the same time, it would get too small. I can kind of get close to lethal out of nowhere here, which might just be what I'm supposed to do, I guess. The other option is playing the Crown and tapping a thing. I'd probably wait until a turn I can swing for lethal to really go nuts. I kind of think playing the Crown is our best play here. So let's attack with just Picnic Ruiner here. Then we'll play the Crown. And then we'll end our turn. Oh, crap. Obviously, I meant to tap something. I'm carrying over how I was playing from yesterday. So they do 6 to us. Interesting. Oh, we do take one more. I think we're going to win, despite my horrid play. Because now... So... Yeah. I do only have 1 red mana, which makes this a little harder. But, yeah, we could just buff this twice. And then attack them. Luckily, they didn't have enough to do lethal to us. Just, you know, I thought I was going to have to tap something to not take lethal, but they didn't have 1 more damage, so... Yeah, it was a trap, that's right. I'm kind of surprised they attacked like that without lethal, like knowing they didn't have lethal. So, I kind of punted, but then I think they did too, because swinging with everything there was a bad idea. Especially because it couldn't even kill my Merfolk. If my Merfolk had died, that would have changed the equation, but did not happen that way. Land tax. Well, I guess I'm glad I'm going first. Or second. Okay, I was going to play Ratcatcher Trainee, but now that I have a 2-drop that doesn't have an adventure, I may as well play it. Well, there's Monstrous Rage. It's a good Witch's Mark here, rather than anything else, but I don't know. I've got a lot of options. Definitely don't want to bounce Woodland Acolyte. So the question is whether I want to make 2/1/1s or just use the trick or cast Witch's Mark. Like, these are all... The Viper Adventure bounces a non-land permanent, which isn't really worth doing for us right now. I guess Monstrous Rage is pretty good. Like, probably better than getting 2/1/1s or any of that. I may just take 2, and they do. In which case, we do now make the 2/1/1s with the trainee. So the good news for us is that land tax is basically like they mulliganed in this game. And that's kind of the problem with land tax. Like, it has a really high ceiling, but there are lots of games where it never does anything. And that's not so good. Okay. So I think now we go ahead and bounce the Pie Wielder. Attack them for 4. And play the Viper. It's a pretty sweet mana war right there. It wasn't as good in Core Set 2021 as I thought it was going to be, is the main thing. That's the main thing that changed. So if I play a land now, they can start getting lands on their turn, which is kind of funny. But I don't think we're going to play one. I think I just do this. Up to 2 target creatures can't block. Drop them to 7. Play the trainee. They do get 3 planes here, so, you know, that's the downside. But I think getting to play trainee and this adventure was probably better. Now it's no longer quite like they mulliganed. It's like they paid 1 mana to draw cards much later, which is not quite as bad. But I feel like between Monstrous Rage, Bounce Spell... Like, I feel like we're going to find lethal here one way or another. I feel like we'll get there. Yeah, so this hurts, but that's okay. I'll accept the pain. Alright, so bounce Pie Wielder, attack with everything, trample on Monstrous Rage gets us to lethal. So I think that means we don't want to bargain. Yeah. Bargaining doesn't really do anything for us here. I guess we could cast Witch's Mark too, but it's not that good. Keeping the 2 rats on the table was probably better. So if we just Monstrous Rage on Trainee, that gives us lethal, yeah. 5, 7. Oh, or it doesn't. Oh, no, it does. My math was right the first time. It hadn't gotten the the token yet. I was like, wow. Yeah, the mark would have given us bargain fodder. That's true. Cast that first, put it, yeah, and then we're able to bargain. Wouldn't really make much of a difference, though, because then the damage, the additional damage isn't there, so. Monstrous Rage is so good. We've learned that, I think, so far. Not too surprising. Oh, it is a wicked roll, so I guess they would take 1. Aquatic Alchemist is pretty sweet with a monster roll. I'd probably lead with the Alchemist. It's more of a pain for our opponent to block it successfully. Now we definitely do, I think. So Since a 1/3 lines up so well against the house mouse. Okay. I think we attack here. We play Boundary Lands Ranger. Blocking and trying to use our trick is like tempting, but it's just such a dangerous plan. Such a dangerous game plan. Okay. So, if I play this now... Although, if I can get them to block, obviously that's way better. But... If I played it now, I would get to Rummage right away. And that's definitely worthwhile when we have this many lands in our hand. But I guess the upside of getting them to block is probably better than starting to Rummage now. Because what I'm going to have to do is cast Monstrous Rage anyway. Like, if they don't block, I cast Monstrous Rage, buff my creature to do damage to them, and then cast Firebolt to kill the Lookout. So, yeah. Ooh. I did not think they were going to block. Works for me. Glad I didn't... That's a nice turn. We do need to draw some gas right now, but, you know. Yeah, 1-mana tricks, I mean, they have a pretty high floor overall. Ooh. So, in response, we gotta kill this thing. They do draw a card still, which is less than ideal, but we couldn't really let it stick around either. I mean, I might as well bounce the House Mouse. It's not like they have any really scary tricks they can use right now, so... What I mean is they don't have anything really scary to use on, to use that adventure on. Those are the words I'm trying to say. Plus, Scalding Viper's going to start pinging them now. How many times is Monstrous Rage going to win us a game? Or we might not win this one, I guess, but it has put us in a really good position again. I'd like to stop drawing lands now, though. That would be good. Especially because I don't have 4 power right now. Alright, so they go to 7. Dang. Well, we still swing out here. Actually, I guess we only swing with these two. Yeah. Drop them to 4. They can only cast 4 more spells that cost 3 or less. so that's good. Now, that is a really good one, though. Yeah, it puts the counter on itself. We pass. The Luminarch Aspirant of the set. It's nerfed in most ways, but it definitely reminds me of that card. Yeah, that's not great news for us. Because it can gain lifelink. So they have to block Merfolk Coralsmith if I attack. So that's good news, I guess. They got to lose something here. Plus, we'll get to scry. What? Okay. I'll take the win. I guess maybe they were just giving up there. Yeah. I mean, they were in a horrible spot. They didn't have very much mana. They were at 4 life, and I had the Viper in play. But it still seems weird that they would just take that. I mean, it was a crappy spot, because they're like, okay, I either have to lose my vendor or the thing that's going to gain me life to let me stabilize, and I don't really want to lose either, so I'm just going to take it. Like, I could see ending up there. Definitely a mulligan, bunch of red cards, so... Ooh, God. Well, maybe things are going to even out here, so we're going to 5. Okay. Okay. All right. I think we put back an island and misleading moats. Probably going to cast Witch's Mark this turn. Yep. Throw away a Coral Smith. I could ping them for 1 and play the Familiar. Or I could just play the Coral Smith and leave up the ping. That's probably just going to be better. Not a terrible start for mulling to 5. But that's going to complicate things a little bit. Do I want to ping? It just feels so much worse when you don't get actual value out of it. You know? Okay, so I can play the Bruiser. I can also just make these both unable to block. The thing I don't like about this whole situation is it's pretty likely they trigger Celebration next turn and gain enough life to cause us problems. So not adding to the board is probably worse. A worse plan. Rummaging isn't that good right now, though, anyway. So yeah, maybe I'm just supposed to attack with both of these and see what happens. Good chance they just take it. Yeah, good chance they just take it, like I thought. In that case... Thank you for the sub, Lord Bio. Gaining life is not our friend, especially when we started the game with not enough gas, because, you know. So this takes him up to 10. That's interesting. Bellowing Bruiser, swing with everything doesn't seem too bad. But would I rather make 2 things unable to block and then play Trainee? That might just be better, actually. Yeah, they have to block or die here. Because I can buff the Coral Smith twice. So So that ends up working out pretty well overall, I would say. What we don't really want is for them to continue to gain life, but they can also cast this and do a bunch of damage now. Wouldn't hate drawing ours. If they cast this, they probably don't trigger Celebration. Oh god, they had a second one. That's really bad. The double Imidane Recruiter is not really what you want to be dealing with. Okay. Next turn they might be able to... Next turn they can play both. Buff their whole board by +2/+0. And they'll have haste. So that's bad. I kind of think I'm supposed to make 2/1/1s and then just play this, and then I attack with everything this turn. Seems like that's what I'm supposed to do. They have to block, so... yeah. You still have to block this or you're dead. Yeah. So we thin out their board enough that they're not going to have lethal now. I like that part. What I don't like is that that thing's going to get lifelink again and hit us even harder. So that part's fun. This turn is nuts. The fact that they cast these on back-to-back turns and now they can cast them both it's wrong. It's not right. This will hit us for 7 and gain them 7. Is that right? +2. Yes. No. Just 5. Just 5. Imagine if we hadn't had to mulligan this game. Wouldn't that have been nice? Let's see. This is 12 damage. I just take lethal, don't I? Yep. Yeah. There wasn't really a way for us to win, short of them not casting both of those. Not realizing they had a treasure or something, you know? Okay, looks pretty good. I could play out Viper to start pinging them, but I think holding on to the bounce is probably worth it. Okay, we haven't seen our bombardment yet. I think we probably play it here. We kind of have the time to. Yeah. Then next turn I can play this as a mana war, more or less. So Ratcatcher Trainee is great with bombardment. Obviously enough. I think we probably lose the Transmuter. These other two cards seem too useful here to give them up. This isn't that scary of a bargain. In fact, I'm kind of surprised they did it, because it doesn't downgrade my board that much. I guess they get a scry out of it, and that interested them. Yeah, I think we probably... I mean, I could just wait till I draw 5 and get all 3 bodies at once. There's something to be said for doing that, but next turn I can play these 2/2-drops after making 2 rats here, so... Yeah, I think we'll just make rats and then pass our turn. I definitely should have sacked that in response, huh? Because then they wouldn't have the option to draw a card. Yep, should have done that. Oh, hello. Okay. I think I'm going to Misleading Motes Baronati and attack for 3 here, though. Like, we need to lower their life enough that Goblin Bombardment can just threaten to win the game on its own. Basically, as soon as they don't have the mana up to draw a card off of Bitter Chill is when I will sacrifice my Picnic Ruiner. Or if it'll be lethal. Either of those situations works for me. Well, probably just supposed to make some more rats. Although the 2/1 First Strikers are pretty good on this board. Yeah. Yeah. So right now, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 damage from bombardment on board. Maybe about to counter that. No, they don't. Okay, so we're finally... Ping them for 1. Do I want to kill one of these Diminisher Witches more than I want to ping them? Probably, I guess, huh? Got 1 card left in hand. Yeah, so let's... Okay. Guess I just swing out here. I could play Hilda's Crown, but it seems kind of unnecessary. That'll be what I do if I have to, I guess, because I think I'd rather just make 2 more rats. We are going to go for them this time. So that does 5 to them. Okay, so they kill that, but it will still do 1 to them. And then we go... Here's 2 more rats. So we should be able to get lethal here. Yeah. Goblin Bombardment won us a game. It's definitely the best of these, like, go-wide build-arounds in the set. For the reasons I explained during the draft. I guess if you weren't watching then. It's better than Impact Tremors because it pays you off for things that have already happened and that will happen, unlike Impact Tremors, which only looks towards the future. Plus, there's the fact it can ping anything, not just the opponent. It's just not. It's not as all in. It's easier to get a card of value out of it because you can ping their creatures, but it still has that upside of, look, I can burn you out entirely. So, Raid Bombardment has the same problem. Well, it has the problem a little less, I guess, because it does pay you off sort of after the fact. But I do think we can keep this since all our cards are blue. You know. I think if our deck was more all in on that stuff, it would have been better for sure. Mountain would have been nice, because then we'd be able to just pick off that Ginger Brute before they put anything on it. Yeah, I'm just going to play this as a 1-3. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me about Impact Tremors and Raid Bombardment, that's for sure. I think I'm going to get the Crown down here because I can tap Barrow Naughty right away and swing for 1. So it does something immediately. Come on, red mana, where you at? That card's pretty sweet. I haven't actually cast it in this format yet. Rowan's Grim Search. Hey, there's a mountain. So, I think we tap the Naughty again. Get in for 1. Do 1 to Ginger Brute. It's basically Ravenous Chupacabra there, you know? See you later, Pear Hunter. Yeah, that's less than ideal. That card's so good. Yeah. Well... trying to decide what to do here. We've got options, that's for sure. Seems like tap, make a cursed roll isn't too bad. It's not great either, though. Does buff this, which matters. Yeah, so... suppose it makes more sense to do it this way. Maybe I should have played my bombardment first, because if they kill something or the like, I have mana. I do think I'll play my bombardment now. It's not going to be as amazing in this game, given what things currently look like, but it might be okay. Just got to draw our rat catchers. That's like the big combo. I could entirely finish off Baronati if I sack a creature, but I don't want to. And we have the mana to tap on their turn, so we may as well do it that way. For a second, I thought they were going to sack a food to gain life. That would have been nice, I think. But they probably have more value to generate out of that. Yeah, you know, like that. For example. That card always makes life hard for you. We can tap it, is the good news. I mean, it doesn't accomplish much because we have flyers, so I'm probably not going to, but we can. Yeah, so I'll tap Baronati here. So I'll attack him for 3 in the air. We're going to leave the mana up for the crown so we can tap down the glutton. Okay, I mean, that's fine with me. I think the crown's pretty strong. I don't quite think it's a bomb because if you're behind when you play it, like, it's really hard to play in situations where you're really far behind. Obviously, I can ping this, but it can come back from the graveyard, so it's not something I'm that excited about doing right now. Man, I didn't really want to draw a land there. What are you going to do? Wonder if it's worth playing the Alchemist just to ping the Vanguard. It does say up to. Oh, no, it doesn't. It has to have a target. I was thinking because it was highlighted, it would have a target. So I can't cast the Adventure side. I could draw. That's true. That's true. I can sack the Crown and draw 3 cards right now. I can actually draw 4 cards. The problem with that is Hamlet Glutton is still around, and I don't have another great way to deal with it, but maybe all those cards is still the right thing to do. Yeah. Let's do it. Okay. I don't love that I had to do it, but bricking on a land that turn kind of made it more necessary. Ooh, good. They're taking the damage. I like that. Just hope they can't gain more life. Because taking the damage drastically increases the chances of us being able to close out the game with our bombardment. Like, we're pretty close to lethal just right here. We can drop them to 1 if we really want to. They are black-green, so having ways to gain life is reasonably likely, unfortunately. Like, another Hamlet Glutton would be pretty backbreaking here. They've also got Tough Cookie, actually, so they can cash that in for life, provided they have 2 mana up. I think we just take it. 6, 9, 10. Yeah, it shouldn't be a problem. Yeah, Sugar Rush would be bad. Okay. So we definitely Witch's Mark first. Throw away a Coral Smith, I think. This will get up to 4. That'll give this double strike. So they can gain life here, which, you know, matters. But I should still be able to kill them. Yeah, so obviously they're going to gain some life here. I mean, I'm dead on the backswing anyway, like if this doesn't work, so sacking the Alchemist here probably makes sense just to do some damage. Yeah, so they go to... Then they take 5, and then I should just be able to finish them off with Bombardment. Scry 2, just in case. These are both potentially going to be good, but I don't think we're ever going to draw them, so... Doesn't matter too much. Nice. deck has been pretty good with very little synergy. Just, you know, an aggro deck. Yep, 2 games have been won by Bombardment. I think we won 2 with Monstrous Rage, too. And I don't know what won the other one, but... yeah, if you have a bunch of creatures, including rat tokens and stuff, Bombardment is pretty nuts. Like, you can't really play it if your deck has, like, 8 creatures in it, but... the ceiling is very high. Right, this looks like a keeper. Would have been nice to draw our ping effect adventure creature. I'm curious to see how this card plays out. It doesn't look that good to me, honestly, but it is so cheap and potentially an engine that maybe it overcomes sort of looking mediocre. I'm just going to play out the Prankster. See if it gets countered. They can give it Death Touch, obviously, and I'm not sure I hate the trade if that's what they do, because they would end up spending extra mana. There are some tricks they could have too, but honestly, it kind of time walks them. And then I can Ratcatcher Trainee. I mean, it's probably not worth it. Yeah, we'll just take the 1. There's something to be said for doing it there, but... okay. Because we have Recruiter in hand, I think it's probably best to just make a couple rats here. Yeah. Yeah, that's some damage. But we got some damage for you, too. Keeping the aggro coming. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I think we attack for 5 here. Then play Coral Smith, something that can actually block. Sounds like a good idea right now. So, especially one that'll scry. So, they're like a blue-black aggro deck, I guess? That's what it looks like. That's what it feels like. I'm hoping, like, stopgap plus an attack can finish them off on our turn. That does make it a little harder. You can't kill the Coral Smith, at least, but... well, it did mean they didn't want to attack. Yeah, so bounce Aquatic Alchemist... so I can bounce an Alchemist and tap another thing. Yeah, and then get in for lethal. Yes, wait. Yes, that is correct. So, bargain. Kapow. All right, can we get to 7? I guess we have 2 shots at it, right? We've only lost once. That's true. I could have gotten the tap and held on to the 1/1. If I needed 1 more damage, I might have missed that. Luckily, I didn't. All right, good hand. Weirdly, we haven't seen Grabby Giant all day. Play something with 1 toughness. Thank you. I mean, you can get it back, but it's still kind of free for me to ping it, so... And they probably won't be getting it back for a little while. Make a treasure at the end of their turn. Okay. I think we'd probably play Familiar. Playing the Giant was tempting, but not that tempting. I don't know about doing that. I mean, you're going to get another food out of it and a Descry too, but man, it's usually not a great idea. Maybe getting the food like makes enough of a difference that it's worth doing. I don't know. Well, there's a mid-range recruiter, and we can actually make the 2/2/2s right now because we have a treasure. It's probably what we do. Because then next turn we could play like Ratcatcher Trainee and the recruiter potentially. Yeah. Gosh, man, how many times do we have to see Hamlet Glutton? Ugh. Bouncing it is a thing. Is it a thing I want to do though? I mean, maybe. Gives me more time. I mean, they're gonna gain more life off of it, obviously, but. Yeah. I think we're going to wait to bounce it until their upkeep, but I think we're probably going to bounce it, yeah. Attack them for 2. Yeah, we'll put it at the beginning of combat, I guess. Let's hope they don't have the trick that gives it hexproof. I haven't been burned by that card yet. I know I will at some point. Yeah, so they want to draw their Glutton again. That's fine. Thank you for the resub beyond Volterra. Yeah, that's pretty good. Does make my whole Imadane's Recruiter plan a little less appealing. But it's probably still what I'm supposed to do. Shut down blockers next turn should make a pretty big difference. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to play this as a creature. Then we're going to play Imadane's Recruiter. So now they can play Hamlet Glutton again. Well, I think we probably just play Merry Bards here. Pay 1. Ouch. Yeah, that's annoying. It is a fight effect, though, so maybe... Oh, yes. So... Haha! That worked out pretty well. Do we have lethal now? Thanks to our bruiser. Yeah, pretty much. We'll do the math later, you know? Yep. Got there. There was a pretty sweet monstrous rage turn several times in that game, in that draft. So far we've got 3 7-win drafts, and then 1 1-win and 1 2-win draft. So, and mostly the decks that have done well have been the assertive ones, and 2 of them were just straight up aggressive. So it's kind of interesting.